Go back to any time in history. Pick one.
What time? What?
I don't know what this like.
Really, reality.
I have no idea. Everything sucks. That's not now.
Everything
we've got internet. We've got
everything.
Fucking.
Well, that's
if I get sick, I go to a doctor and I get fucking drugs that go inside me and kill off things that are inside my body.
You see how that's connected to Amethyst, though, right? Because when we were designing Amethyst,
we're playing the stretching game now.
No, but it's a great angle to move into that question.
I'm gonna say, do I get to choose being rich or not?
You can go in there with the exact same social status you are now, which means
I'm gonna say late Renaissance then.
Yeah, I think late Renaissance would be good. Now, here's the thing: you say every time
I would go back and be super gay with Euler. That's what I would do.
Super gay with what?
Super gay with Euler.
Euler?
Mm-hmm. I don't care if he's gay or not. I just go be super gay with him.
Who?
Euler.
Who's that?
Leonard Euler. He's a mathematician.
Okay, there we go. You like math, I know that.
Super gay. All the dicks.
So, that's the thing. You said
I would do to that
any time that's not now sucks. So if Amethyst happened in reality, you wouldn't go out into the fantasy world.
If Amethyst happened now, we'd have a lot more problems.
Well, a good chunk of the population would be dead. But let's assume that you survive. You survive. Well, you'd have internet, but it would just be locally enclosed to the city.
Yeah, I'll go back to BBS's. That was fun.
No, it'd be the exact same technological state we are right now, except we're walled in.
The good old bubbles.
If you want to travel to Vancouver, you'd have to go through.
Fly past dragons.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd be more or less stranded in Prince George. Or you can give up that life and go into a fantasy world.
You're right, I could go live in a mud hut. That'd be fun.
So you don't want to wave a sword for a living? Kill monsters?
No.
Now,
you have to be retarded to do that.
But you are part of the creative that medieval society. You made armor.
Yeah.
You go out to block battles and beat people with blended instruments.
Yeah.
And yet you wouldn't want to join that world.
Well, I mean, I build fucking transitional period harnesses out of 12-gauge steel.
Yeah.
And beat people with stick, and afterward get crazy drunk.
Yeah.
Then I drive my magic car back to my house, masturbate to porn. There's a lot of things I do afterward.
I like how your specific list ended with the porn. I could see your brain thinking of other things and realizing that was it. That was the end
watching StarCraft on TV.
Yeah, but the thing is, your brain couldn't come up with that. You stopped on porn and your body said, "I'm done," and you're like, "No, there's more."
Ultimately,
your brain was like, "No, that's it. There's no more." That was it.
There's a lot more in there. It's just like, well, they're stuck here now.
Yeah.
Now Cecilia's gonna fucking listen to this.
Oh my god, you stop. Oh, my wife's gonna listen to this. I better stop with masturbation. Not the step before that.
Like nobody chooses the alternative.
Yes, I know. My friend Adam, who's like 6'5", says I would absolutely go out in that fantasy world.
No, he's a liar. That's the same people that say they would do all sorts of crazy shit given the opportunity. They're all fucking liars. There's like 8 people on the planet that would do that.
And they would die.
And they would die. Not only that, a lot of people won't have the choice because lots of people are poor.
You're right.
And that's not their fault. What do you think of the sustainability of RPG stores? Like specifically RPG stores?
Pen and paper, like game stores like Great White and so forth. Or actually, Great White is a toy store now. But
you can't run an RPG store anymore.
You can, just not.
Well, you never could run a fucking RPG store.
Well, you can, just not in town. We're talking a game store, a non-electronic game store.
You mean like that carries miniatures and shit like that?
Yeah.
That's perfectly fucking viable. There's loads of people do it. The only thing you have to understand is that you don't make much money off of it.
It's not.
But the perks is that you get to run a fucking game store.
Yeah.
You'll make probably, I don't know.
I think it's sustainable as long as they evolve. Namely, they become entirely a tabletop. Role-playing game store, like who used to sell just role-playing games.
I don't know if they do a lot of places. I've never seen a place ever just sell role-playing games.
Well, there are places that the product line
Edmonton, Vancouver, Victoria. There's never been a place like that.
Well,
I mean, I say that here, but I mean, I guess there might be somewhere, but it wasn't like a common.
Yeah, I'm saying back in the 90s.
No, there was no just role-playing stores.
No. Stores where the proportion of tabletop and so forth. Like some role-playing stores in the 80s and 90s, they had some Warhammer and then role-playing games, right? Now, the role-playing game section has gotten minuscule and it's almost entirely dominated by tabletop now. Because you have to evolve your business model.
Actually, I'd say Magic is a bigger...
And Magic.
Magic's a huge chunk of
Yeah, but I'm saying the fact that
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to say most, but in my experience, most stores I've seen, Magic is.
I think right now that a non-electronic
comics the same way. Comics don't make a lot of money these days,
yeah, they're fading.
which is too bad. I mean, I don't know how much it is.
I just know how much RPG sells. RPG now, and this is honest. I am amazed that people buy books, digital PDF role-playing pen and paper. I'm actually surprised. For being a person that publishes role-playing games, I'm surprised I sell so well.
Oh, fuck no. I mean, as far as Warhammer,
because it seems like everyone who should be.
As far as Warhammer goes, I will. They've started bringing up their online codices, army books, things like that. I mean, I'll fucking totally buy those over that now. War Machine. I mean, I went to War Room and I stopped buying books.
So you buy PDFs then, or?
Oh fuck yeah!
Well,
yeah.
It's not just there's PDFs, still a marketplace. You still can't. I mean, put it now. Do you buy your miniatures online then as well, or do you buy them at store level, or do you buy them at store level?
I buy them at store level, but it's a stupid idea to do so.
Yeah.
Because you can find way better deals online. It doesn't take that long for them shipping, but I mean, you just support your local store because.
That's it. That comes down to it. It's just a loyalty to your local store.
Well, because it's one of the.
If you don't have one, then there's nothing holding it together. Because it just seems to me like pen and paper role playing is still fading.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
video games
have just utterly dominated it.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me. Like I could 10 years ago, or even 15.
Well, I mean,
10 years ago, I could find a role playing game group with my eyes closed. Nowadays, I think it would be a little more difficult to find people that are in my age bracket that are willing to try a game that don't already have their own game group.
Well, yeah, but that would have happened at any time. We're fucking 12 years older now.
No, I think if we were 30...
I think if we were fucking like...
If we were 40 in the 90s, I think I'd be able to get a game group going.
It'd be creepy.
No, I think we can find people our age. Because I played with people that are older. They're older now, but they were in their 30s when I was playing with them back in the 90s. Right?
Yeah, but now they're in their 40s. I mean, it's just...
No, I'm saying that if we were 30...
I am 30.
Yeah, if we were 30 in the mid-90s, we could find other people in our age group easier than we could now. So.
I can now. It's just nobody has...
Is it because our economy demands we work more?
No, it's just we're older now.
I
mean, anecdotal evidence is just that. It's
but the thing is the fact that
I could have found a million people back in the 90s, but I mean, there's no evidence for that.
But that being said, looking at all the people we've played with in the Amadeus game, the other 10 or 12 players that have moved in and out of this game over the last 10 years, do you think we could conceivably create a game group with any of them? Could we get 4 of those people together in a room to get a sustainable game going? I think the answer is no. And that's what
happens when you get older. That's the behold the ravages of age.
Of the 15 or 16 people that we've played with, we can't form a 4-person group. That's just what I'm saying.
D&D Next Thoughts. That's the online one, right?
That's not the online. That's the new version of D&D 5th edition.
D&D Next was the name of that site they had.
No, D&D Next is the name of the 5th edition D&D.
What was the site that they had?
D&D Insider.
Oh, okay.
DDI.
Oh, I haven't seen much on it.
I've
been kind of falling by the wayside as far as rumors and news
go. Well, the alpha version of D&D Next was horrible. It was horrible.
Is it the one you told me about?
That was the one.
I like that one.
I know. And there's a reason why it changed, because it was horrible.
Well, mind you, I didn't read it, but from what you told me, I kind of liked it.
Now, Monty Cook left the project after that version came out, and I think I know why. Because it was horrible. And if that was his contribution, and they wanted to ditch that and go another direction, so he left, wouldn't be surprised. Because
I love Monty Cook. I love Monty Cook.
I like Monty Cook, but he has a lot of bad ideas he won't abandon.
Like what?
I just looking at the 3.5 edition, and looking at what was in D&D Next, that was reminiscent of 3.5. That are the way they do magic. I like that. I don't like the 3.5 magic system.
I hate 4th magic system. It's the worst pile of garbage I've ever seen.
It's not. It's better than 3.5.
No, it's not. The only problem with 3.5 is the power scale.
Power scale was bad. I didn't like the idea of the defender having to roll. It's the opposite mechanic of everything else in the entire game. And then in the first edition,
you'll find a lot of games do that, and one of the things
too much pressure on the GM. GM's got enough things to worry about than having.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
I'm on the GM side on all things.
No, I disagree with that entirely. But
but I'm saying the fact that the old alpha version, which had the defender and the attacker rolling, is stupid. That takes away. It drags
Defender
combat.
and attack. The
Yeah.
only time you roll to attack with a spell is when you.
Welcome to the Monte Cook's Alpha. That version of
You
D&D.
didn't tell me that.
I did tell you that, and you liked that. I thought it was
No,
horrible.
I like that saves were back.
No, saves were back, and the attacker rolled. So the wizard.
I actually don't mind that either.
See, that's the thing. You actually didn't mind that, and I thought it was good. I think it dragged the game down, forcing double rolls from both sides.
It's not double rolls. It's one roll for each side.
Don't say right. One roll for each side. Double rolls for each combat round.
I don't mind that.
I do because it dragged combat down. One roll. That was one thing about Mechton because it had double
That
rolls,
was such a fucking terrible system.
and that one had double rolls. 2 rolls for each system.
No, it's just a bad system.
This is the question here we'll get. I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite game system then? Not being any game system, period. You have Mechton, GURPS.
I loved, despite
Fusion.
all their fucking flaws, I loved the storyteller system because it let you do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Yeah?
You made a loose character. I mean, you had all the fucking bullshit vampire, fucking werewolf stuff, but it's all off. But the system itself, I mean, before Exalted got all creepy and pedophilia oriented,
You loved Exalted.
I did. I loved that first book because it was a great book. It was an interesting setting. It was new, and then they went into the fucking weird end like White Wolf usually does. But the storyteller system itself was, mind you, Exalted was ludicrously overpowered, but like Dragonblood or something. It was just you made a character. That character had a bunch of vague stats, and the storyteller told you what to do. I want to do this very precise thing. Storyteller says, all right, use this stat plus this stat, roll your dice, difficulty is this, go. That's what a game should be. It should be fluid, it should be fast, it should be done. Rules should never, ever, ever come in the way of being creative or having fun in the game.
Which is the reason why I like 4th edition more than 3.5.
No, because 4th edition was
Fourth edition
so
game-
constrictive.
I see.
It was more constrictive than any version
It had
of
less.
D&D.
It had less skills. The combat had a
No,
lot.
skills are a good thing.
Hmm.
I want to do this thing. Do you have that skill? No. All right, get a penalty to your roll. Go.
Yeah.
Having no skills and relying on fucking powers for everything is the most constrictive thing you can do. Aside from just saying nobody can do anything but walk around like be like the original Guild Wars, where you just walk in straight lines and can't jump or anything.
I think that the core idea of 4th edition had validity. I thought how they dealt with it.
I think I
better.
went through this. Me and Cam went through this on the like one of the old podcasts, I think.
Yeah.
But it was a good idea, and the more I think about it, the more it failed hard.
Yeah.
That's not to say that 3.5 is the best edition ever, because it wasn't. If you want a game to be good, let people break the fuck out of it.
So you like storytelling?
Yeah, it's hard. Aside from like all the crazy shit that they started doing with Storyteller, like there's gotta be like, well, I guess now it's all changed. So I haven't played Storyteller since shit. It's been like 12, 13 years. But back then, even then, there was a lot of fucking shit. Like, there was just expansions fucking everywhere, but that's just the game thing, right? It just happens.
Yeah. Did you ever?
I like the idea of storyteller system. I like that you just have some basic stats, you have some traits, you have some backgrounds, and you just take them and you go with it.
Because that's where I think gets abused the most. People trying to manipulate the system to make them more powerful in combat. No one tries to make themselves incredibly overpowered outside of combat. At least in my circles.
I did.
I know you probably did. I mean, looking back at the first Amethyst, that was your and Brian's crusade to use the system in every puzzle to make you as powerful as you could in
I
combat.
can't fucking believe you gave me that quad class. That wasn't even my fault.
Well, it was also
3 times a day, stop time for a round. What? At no point does anybody, any GM in the world, think that just stopping time 3 times, like for story points, you're jabbering away, but like some bad guy saying something ultra important.
and you just go
Stop. Like the Lich, I think I headbutt the shit out of that Lich.
I played Mechton, like Fusion, which is a variation of Mechton. Made the Alien game from it. Think it's a good system. Hate Palladium, played a lot of it. Despise
Riffs.
I despise GURPS, and I played a lot of GURPS. I liked West End system, the D6 system they used to Star Wars. I liked it. I thought it was neat. Played all the versions of D&D. Never
Actually,
really liked any
of all the systems I've played with, as far as combat goes, the old fucking Warhammer roleplay
Yeah?
was just so nuts. It was just so. I've never played in a game where it was just so fucking deadly.
Yeah?
That's not true. I played fucking Recon. Recon was good. The
That's-
Vietnam one?
That's a Palladium game.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts.
Wow, that's old school. They put that out before they put out Robotech.
Mm-hmm. The high point of that game was I think it was like a 3.5 minute character generation.
It'd have to be.
It was fucking quick.
It'd have to be.
What else? I loved character creation in fucking TMNT. I loved that.
That's also a Palladium game.
But it was also like the game wasn't great, but we just loved whenever like Brian was usually one that fucking ran it.
But you hate Palladium-based system though.
I do, and the game was shitty. It's just
like,
character generation.
Like, there was no
I've got
greater...
like a fucking canary with a flamethrower.
No, like it's one thing. It's one thing in Robotech.
I think I rode Mike around. He was like this giant puma dude, and I was this fat little budgie with a flamethrower. Run around like Master Blaster.
It made sense in Robotech, the fact that
fucking canary ran Buttertown.
That the mecha in Robotech had mega damage, and then the characters had traditional damage.
TMNT didn't have mega damage though.
Yeah, they incorporate that into Robotech, but they carried that system into Rifts, and they broke it in Rifts.
Yeah,
because the juicer would do mega damage, and the glitter boy
you
would
could play a juicer, or you could play a ninja juicer, or no, you could play a crazy, or you could play a ninja crazy.
But I always
or a Mexican vampire, which I'm pretty sure is racist, but I just don't know how.
There are very few game systems I've actually enjoyed. Because as a player, most of the time...
And, for all I bitch about other systems, there hasn't been a single game that I haven't enjoyed. I've loved fucking every game I've ever been in because I'm a giant fucking...
I don't play games because I want to play the system. I play the game because I want to play the setting with the people. The rules are unimportant to me. If someone says, hey, I'm playing a game, it's a space opera, blah, blah, playing GURPS, I said, fine. It doesn't matter that it's a GURPS system. I just want to play that space opera, if it's an appealing setting.
Well, no,
I played Robotech because of Robotech.
I couldn't really give a shit about the setting either. It's always been just about getting a bunch of guys I enjoy hanging out with and fucking around for a couple hours on a weekday night.
Yeah, you see, if a bunch of...
That's why I won't play with strangers, because... I mean, it's nothing against... I'm sure a lot of them are great people, but...
Yeah, we're friendly.
I know enough people as it is. Has anything changed since you posted an open letter to... That's all in caps. Has anything changed since you posted an open letter to Wizards of the Coast? I know Paizo extended a hand, but it's Wizards of the Coast.
Is it caps? Okay, you didn't have to scream all of it. Only the open letter... It would
sound fucking nuts if I just started screaming halfway through.
The answer is no. Paizo extended a hand to join Paizo. I did to join the Pathfinder community. I did that. I think the reason why I got on the Friends and Family playtest of D&D was because of that letter. I think that the people who ran Wizards of the Coast, I can't remember his name now, that called me up, that sent me a letter.
McDudley.
What?
Biff McDudley.
Okay. When Biff sent me an email, wanted to talk on the phone. We couldn't get a time we could talk on the phones. We just passed a few emails. These were personal emails. They weren't broad emails sent to numerous people. So I was having a conversation with somebody from WotC, and they wanted to bring me on to the Friends and Family playtest. I joined them. I'm hoping that when I submitted a very extensive letter about all the problems I had with the alpha playtest before the Friends and Family playtest, the fact that almost every single thing I had a problem with got torn out when the the alpha test came online a few months later, I'm hoping that made an impact.
It seems unlikely that one dude's letter did that.
No, but I'm saying that I contributed to probably numerous people that also did the same thing, because all of these problems got removed. I've also noticed that as D&D Next has moved along, more and more elements I liked from D&D Next, from D&D 4th Edition, have started to wiggle their way in. I don't mean powers.
Okay.
I mean the construction of the monsters, primarily. The monsters were way too much like 3.5 monsters. Like, anytime there's a monster that says, this monster can cast spells as a force.
Actually, that's one thing I like about the...
I don't want to create... Like, if I need a monster, and I haven't pre-made the monster ahead of time, I want to be able to open the book and play the monster right away. The monsters... Any monster that had spellcasting ability, 8th level caster, you had to create them spellcast, you had to set DCs. It was stupid. How they constructed Monsters 3.5 was annoying.
I actually really fucking... That was...
Because you were never... I've never seen you as a GM. I've never seen you as a DM.
No,
as someone who's made 4th edition monsters and Paizo monsters, 4th edition monsters took me like 2 weeks to convert those monsters to Paizo took 4 months. It was such a painful experience trying to make Paizo monsters. I swore I would never do it again. It was such a colossal pain in the ass to do it. Every time I had to design a monster for Pathfinder, I got bummed out. I don't like it, and that's one thing I'm happy that they're trying to make.
Sad. Money. A lot of these aren't about me.
That's all that matters, eh?
The other one.
Oh, really? Just throwing that one off because
This isn't about me either.
fuck's sake.
Any failed writing projects?
Yeah, that's about you.
I didn't fail anything.
Really?
Everything I've done is gold.
I was gonna do a Matrix cut homebrew game. I
I've got a lot of writing stuff.
I
that
have like
never
40
actually
or 50
finished.
when I was a teenager. I only started finishing shit in my 20s. I was gonna do a Futurama and a Matrix homebrew game. I was gonna do a Futurama homebrew game.
God, that'd be the worst.
I thought it had potential. I realized it didn't. I was going to do a Matrix game. A lot of people were asking me about the Matrix game for years after I went into Amethyst. Are you going to do the Matrix game? I was like, no, because I can never sell it. But I had all the artwork set aside. I had a poster I had made. I still want to do that.
There's Matrix, Ghost in the Shell. What else?
I don't like starting projects and not finishing it. I think it's a waste of time. Have you had games collapse? Have you ever run a game that's collapsed?
Every game ever.
Amethyst is the first game we ran. We actually ran
You're
Amethyst.
welcome.
Amethyst ran 3 times, and each time it finished.
You're welcome.
Ghost in the Shell game finished.
You're welcome.
Yours Bastard collapsed after 1 session. Because you wanted to do Amethyst.
Favorite author?
All time, past, present, future?
Tie between Stevenson and Gibson. Neil Stevenson and William Gibson.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
It's not hard, and everybody fucking knows me.
Yeah.
No, they're two of the best authors I've ever. I mean, between Baroque Cycle by Stevenson and
Okay, so you like Neil Stevenson.
Gibson's. I don't remember the actual name of the Luke's trilogy, but it's
Sprawl.
Adoru, All Tomorrow's Parties,
Sprawl?
and
Sprawl trilogy?
it's not Sprawl. Or no, it's not Sprawl. Is it Sprawl?
Sprawl's a trilogy of
No, that's the
Count Zero and...
no, that's it's Neuromancer. That's not
Neuromancer.
that one. Neuromancer's probably his weakest book.
Which is oddly, it has the book.
No, it's
more than
the
that.
one he got famous on.
One
No,
of
it's Adoru, All Tomorrow's Parties, and Virtual Light. That's the other one.
Mhm.
Those three, and the Baroque Cycle by Stevenson is Quickening, or not Quickening, Quicksilver, System of the World, and The Confusion.
Yeah. All my favorite authors are dead. Unfortunately. Arthur C. Clarke, Isaac Asimov, these are the guys I grew up with. I don't have a current favorite. I've read a little bit of Gibson. I've read a little bit of Gaiman. I like Gaiman's writing. I like it.
I loved
I've read
Sandman, and I mean
I've read Sandman. I've read Stardust, and I've read
everything he writes.
Lyric
I
Gods.
enjoy. I wouldn't say by any stretch he's my favorite. I like what he does. It's just there.
Yeah. You've read a lot of King too.
Huh?
You read a lot of King, or is it just Dark Tower?
I read the whole Dark Tower series, and
Yeah.
it was alright. It was good. I don't know if I enjoyed it specifically, or if I just got so far into it that I was just like, I have to enjoy it now. Although that wasn't the case with that fucking garbage that what's his name wrote. What's that fucking?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'm
What's his
not
name?
going to give you the name. 'Cause I don't want to. We're not going to talk about it.
Fuck is his name?
We're not going to talk
That
about it.
Fucking objectivist idiot.
I know.
The Randroid.
I'm not going to give you the name. I know the name. I know the books. I'm not going to talk about it. We're moving on.
Sort of.
No,
Sort of fucking.
no,
true.
we're not talking about it.
Fucking Randroid.
No, we're not talking about.
Ah.
We're not talking about that series or his name. He shall not be named. I like books. Oh God.
What's his name?
Oh God. I'm not. No. Grab a question.
No, I'm interneting.
Oh fuck.
Sword of
Truth.
Truth.
I know. No, don't do it.
Terry fucking Goodkind.
I know.
He's the worst thing to happen to writing since fucking, I don't know, R.L. Stein.
What do you have against Earl Stein now?
Goosebumps. Give me that fucking hat.